Hey guys, what's up? It's iFlynn here, and welcome to episode 17 of my Warframe Beginners Guide for 2025. Now, I'm not going to cover the Master Rank tests at the start of the videos anymore, for the simple fact that once you hit Master Rank 16, you can basically get all of the weapons in the game, so you don't have to worry about rushing your Master Rank tests anymore. Just go ahead and play at your own pace and stuff like that. I will still show the 17th test at the end of this video, but instead we're just going to jump right into some of the more relevant content. So the first thing that I want to cover in today's video is actually the Hex Syndicate. So here I am at Arthur, and if I go ahead talk to Arthur, you can see that I am maxed out on my standing at rank 3. If I go ahead to press rank up, and I press rank up, it says that I can't do it yet because I need to go ahead and complete the Hex Finale. So if we go ahead, we back out, and we hold down Q, we go to the back room here. I can actually go ahead and interact with the cat. Some of you might have done that already. But basically, before you can interact with that cat and it do anything, you have to come to the PC and you have to talk to all of the Hex members, right? So Broadsword is Arthur, Salem is Eleanor, Belladonna is Lottie, High Voltage or High Volt is just Amir, Glimmer is Aoi, and Soldier One Shot One Kill is Quincy. Forgot his name. That's because I barely talked to Quincy. All good. So anyway, right, what I need to do now is I need to go ahead and I need to complete the finale of the Hex quest. This is pretty straightforward. I'm not going to show it in this video because it is all spoilers, but go ahead and do that. So I went ahead and I completed the finale. Now if I go ahead, head over to Arthur, I can just go ahead and trade in everything that I need to rank up. And I can go ahead and pick up anything that I want here. So if you think the skins are cool, you can go ahead and pick up any of the skins. But I recommend going for one of the arcanes because they're just, you know, functional. So yeah, I'm going to go for the Arcane Bellicose because that one gives me power strength bonuses. And yeah, that's just what I want. So I've came over to the Chrysalith in the Zarmental set, and we're talking to Cavallero, and I'm over here because what I want to mention is the fact that I went ahead, I picked up the Leyden blueprint, I've crafted this is now in my inventory. Now, these incarnon weapons you can evolve, right? So what that means is they can go from being one type of weapon, so this is a semi-auto pistol, but when it evolves into its incarnon mode, it is a fully automatic pistol, and on top of that, it also has a lot of other bonuses as well. So if we go to evolve incarnon weapons or incarnon evolution, whatever it said, you can see that we have this like skill tree here, and this skill tree basically goes through a bunch of different upgrades that we can just go ahead and swap between. Basically, whenever you're watching a guide video or something like that, there's going to be like sort of like go-to picks. So you can see for the Latum here, I've got Rapid Rathlon for more fire rate. The Evolution 3, I've got Lethal Rearment for more reload speed on headshots, stacking up to 3 times. My Evo 4, I've got Elemental Access, so this is more status chance for less critical chance. And then my Evo 5, I've got Devouring Attrition, so it's 50% chance to deal plus 2,000 damage on non-critical hits. Plus 2,000 is a big bonus. Now, the thing is, to do all of these evolutions, you're going to have to complete challenges. So the challenges can be something simple like kill 100 enemies or hit so many headshots in a row. All of the different incarnon weapons have their own unique challenges. So this one was, you know, kill 100 enemies, then kill Xmas enemies, then get headshots on a Void Angel. Then it was to seal 12 of the Void Flood things, and then finally I needed to actually complete a mission with 3 incarnon weapons equipped, so a primary, a secondary, and a melee. And if I go ahead back out, you can see that I've got the Torrid Incarnon and the Nami Solo Incarnon, which I've done all of the challenges to upgrade these as well because they're just very, very, very good weapons. Now, you can get the additional weapons simply from Cavallero here, because all the weapons that he sells are all incarnon weapons. So the Anodum is an incarnon weapon, the Fenmore is an incarnon weapon, the Felarx is an incarnon weapon, and the Praetos is an incarnon weapon. So if you want to complete the challenge for the Latum using these, you can go ahead and do that. Or you can go ahead and take part in the Steel Path circuit. So just set to Steel Path mode, go to the circuit, and you can see that there's different weapons here with incarnate adapters. So what you have to do is you have to play your Steel Path circuit for the week, and then you're going to get the incarnate adapter. You go to Cavallero, and then you apply some resources from the Viri to equip the incarnate adapter to the weapon. So for example, I think I would like to choose the Okina, and I guess maybe the Sybaris. The Sybaris is pretty good as well. You know, you can really choose whatever you want here. You can read off the upgrades at the bottom too if you're interested. But yeah, incarnon weapons are kind of like the go-to meta weapons within Warframe right now, so if they're available to get, just go ahead and get them. The reason that we're talking about incarnon weapons in today's episode is simply because I'm going to be recommending that you guys pick up any of the incarnon weapons from Cavalero that is a gun, basically, so the Latum or the Fenmore or whatever, so then you can go ahead and you can take down an Eidolon with one of these incarnon weapons in their incarnon form. So you can kill Eidolons with the legs of a Naderic, for example, but it's much slower, and you're just going to see how much faster this is with, the Latum in hand. Now, I went ahead, I've got all of the upgrades. I showed you guys all of the upgrades that I've got on, and here is the build that I'm rocking. I went ahead and put an Orokin Catalyst on it, simply because I'm able to buy, because I've got a little bit of plat. And I've got that plat via trading prime sets and stuff like that. So at this point in the game, it's all about farming up those prime sets to sell to other players to get platinum, so you can spend on the likes of Orokin Catalyst and reactors whenever you need them, if you don't have a blueprint in your foundry, for example, to go ahead and build. But yeah, this is just the build that I'm rocking on the Latum. I've also went ahead and I've invested into the Madurai focus skill tree. Now I'm able to do this because I've equipped the Eidolon Madurai lens to my Naderic that I got from ranking up to rank 5 with the Sanctum Syndicate. Now the Madurai focus skill tree is all about dealing additional damage. So you can see Phoenix Talons here. So physical damage and operator damage is increased by 10% going on to 20, so on and so forth. And then we also have this ability here called Void Strike. So your first ability consumes all of your energy to increase the damage for 6 seconds, and you deal a certain amount of more damage based on every percentage of energy consumed. So Phoenix Talons plus Void Strike, very strong for taking down Eidolons, and I'm going to show you guys why. So I'm going to go ahead, invest a little bit into Phoenix Talons, then into Void Strike, and now I can't rank up either of these again. And I guess I'm going to go ahead and unlock Void Fuel just for now. Go ahead and apply those changes. Very nice. Now, before we can fight an Eidolon, we have to wait for it to become nighttime in Cetus. So what we're going to do in the meantime, while we're waiting for it to become night, is we're going to go ahead and we're going to focus on ranking up with Little Duck over in Fortuna. And to do that, I recommend going ahead and equipping Necros and running a build that looks like this. You can see that I've now replaced Rhino's Roar on my first build with Sevagoth's Gloom on the 4th ability. Creeping Terrify and Despoil both come from the Red Veil Syndicate that we're a part of. Now this build is going to do really good at keeping you alive and also slowing the enemies, making them easy to kill. Here's the build that I'm currently rocking on the Naderic for farming these toroids. I'll go ahead and bring the Latum in just because. And of course, we're definitely going to go ahead and bring in our Zorus. What I'm also going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and do this with the Steel Path mode turned on. So I have actually played through the Steel Path star chart just a little bit to get myself over to Fortuna. And this is just going to increase the amount of drops that we get because of this resource drop chance booster that we've got on because of the Steel Path mode. Now, if you wanted to, you could go to the market and buy additional resource boosters, so you get, double the drops and more likely rare drops and stuff like that. So if you come over here to the back room and you go ahead and you interact with Little Duck while you're in your operator form, not as your Warframe, because you can't talk to her in your Warframe. So talk to her with your operator, go ahead and you press trade toroids for standing. You can see the different toroids that we've got. So I can just go ahead, middle mouse button on whatever, go ahead, press redeem. And that's going to give me a certain amount of standing. And all of those toroids or the standing that we give in with the toroids, that's going to enable us to go ahead and pick up more amp parts. So you can see whenever I got offered up amp parts, whenever I was ranking up, I went ahead and I picked up the Exard Scaffold Blueprint. Now remember, if you want to maximize your mastery gains, you have to have one of each prism. So there's 7 prisms total in the game. This is the 4th one. But our goal right now is simply just ranking up. She's going to ask for Gyromag systems to actually rank up from rank 1 to rank 2. So make sure to come in here and actually just buy a Gyromag systems from her. And you can see she's also asking for an Atmo system. So if I go ahead, go to Browse Wares, I can just buy an Atmo system from her as well. And that's going to enable me to rank up whenever I finally get enough standing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to invite my friend Winter in to join me because he also needs to farm toroids. And because what I'm planning on doing tonight is simply toroids, then Eidolons. There's 3 different types of toroids that we can farm in Fortuna, which we've already put the lock pins down for. So I'm going to spend 20 minutes at each location, and then that's going to be 1 hour total. Then we're going to swap over and we're going to do Eidolons, and I'm just going to keep on going in that loop until I have enough toroids and and Eidolon cores to go ahead and rank up, basically. Okay, so me and Winter are in Fortuna, and if you recall from previous episodes, I told you guys to go to the Enrichment Labs, the Spaceport, and also the Temple of Prophet, and put down, like, lock pins to basically tell you where the different types of toroids drop. So basically, we're going to be spending 20 minutes at Spaceport, 20 minutes at the Enrichment Labs, and then 20 minutes at the Temple of Prophet. Winter's playing a frame Octavia, so we can just kill a bunch of enemies like really quick. And I'm playing Necros as the loot frame. So if you've got a squad, you've got some friends. If you don't have any friends, you can use recruiting chat, you know, LFG, Discords, and stuff like that. And yeah, all you want to do is just jump in here, go ahead, cast your Desecrate, and then just go ahead and kill enemies. Now, if you guys recall, I went ahead and put Sevagov's Gloom onto Necros. So if I press 4, if they're in this circle here, they're going to be slowed. And then if I get enough energy for Terrify, yeah, so I got enough energy for Terrify. Let's find a non-Aximus enemy. You can see that this guy's really slow. I go ahead Terrify. The enemy's super slow, right? So I can just go ahead and shoot at him or melee him with whatever I've got. And yeah, it just makes these Steel Path enemies a lot easier to kill, and it's just a lot easier for you to survive. We've got that Desecrate augment on, which is actually draining our health to reroll the bodies for loot. And because we've got Gloom on, Gloom is healing us, right? So we don't have to worry about that basically at all. So our survivability is just top tier. So all me and Winter are going to do is we're just going to hang out and kill as many enemies as quickly as we can, just to, you know, farm up some of the resources, and then whenever we eventually get one, then I'll make sure to show it. So sometimes, like, we just got done killing a bunch of enemies outside, and they sort of stop spawning in. So if you just head inside, you know, the area that you're at, because each of these areas all have buildings, it's going to spawn in more enemies for you. So if you look at the mini-map right now, you can see all the red Doritos. So now we just kill inside, and then whenever they stop spawning inside, we just run outside again, and you sort of just keep going in that little loop. So there we go, we just got some Caldotoroids. I've actually got 4 now. Now I'm getting 2 per drop because I've got a booster on, but you know, if you don't have a booster, you're only going to get 1, so the farm's going to take a little bit longer. But if you're trading for prime sets and stuff like that, and then trading those on Warframe.market or using a Leica frame or whatever to initiate trades, well then, you know, you'll have platinum so you can buy a booster. Okay, me and Winter changed from the Enrichment Labs, where we get the Caldotoroids, over to the Spaceport, where we get the Vegatoroids, simply because we were getting quite unlucky with the enemy spawns. Like, they weren't really spawning in for us, and it's also just my experience that those Toroids are just basically harder to come by anyway. But the enemies are way more dense in the other 2 locations, so if you're just farming the Toroids for standing, well, I recommend going to either the Spaceport or the Temple of Prophet, because if you look in the map, there's just way more enemies here, and there's also going to be way more enemies inside. The spawns are just more consistent, but I think you are eventually going to need to get like all types of toroids to craft different stuff. So it is worth doing a mix of the 3 locations, even if you're not getting like the most spawns from the Calda place. It's still worth, you know, checking it out. There you go, we've got some Vegatoroids already, and we've only been here for like 3 minutes or so. To get inside this area, you just come up to this big door, and it's just gonna open up for you, and then you can go up these stairs. Never mind, it's not up the stairs, it's through this door and down the stairs, and you can just go deep into this facility. And you probably recognize this place. This is the place from the new war quest, and you just keep on killing the corpus. There's a big room really deep in here. Here it is, so you can just hang out in here, and all the enemies are gonna run towards you, and yeah, you can kill them in here. So we swapped over to the Temple of Prophet, and what you're looking for is for the enemies to put down these reinforcement beacons. These reinforcement beacons are basically like a wanted level. If you look to the right of the mini-map on the top left, you can see that we've got like a wanted level of 2. Now you want to have as many of these sticks down on the ground as possible, because that's just going to like force spawn more enemies to come in from this like big blue drop thing, you know what I mean? So try to avoid using like nuking frame abilities. We kind of figured out that's what was like making our spawns a little bit slow. The Octavia's 1 was accidentally killing the beacons for us, so yeah. So Winter and I just got done farming some of the toroids, and I just wanted to mention, like, there are faster methods of farming toroids for standing. So if we take a look and you see the trade toroids for standing, there are other types of toroids, right, which give much more standing. You have to do a boss fight, basically. That's cool, and it's all right to do these methods if you understand how. But the reason that I'm mentioning, farming the Solar Toroids, the Cowla Toroids, and the Vega Toroids is simply because you're going to need these anyway to actually craft the amp parts, right? So you can see that this prism requires the Vega Toroids, and so on and so forth. This prism requires Vega Toroids as well. So you literally have to come and get these Toroids no matter what. So you might as well do these to get some of the Toroids to upgrade some of the standing until you unlock the actual game mode or the boss fight, where you can actually go ahead and trade in those new specific better types of Toroids for the standard instead. So before you unlock those boss fights to get the better Toroids, you actually have to increase your standing with the Solaris United. And as you guys can see, I've been neglecting this quite a bit. Like, I haven't been coming in here and doing my bounties or anything, so I'm lacking in depth bonds and stuff. The depth bonds you can get from Mr. Ticker, so if you go ahead, hold down your fast travel button, you can TP over to him, and you can say purchase depth bonds, and you can trade in the resources and the credits to get those depth bonds. Like, I'm not too worried about, you guys doing that now, because, like, we're kind of, like, more further ahead in the game, like, farming credits and whatnot. That's just going to come naturally to you guys now. But farming the standing. Now, these Fortuna bounties, even in the Steel Path mode, they don't give a lot of standing. So if we go to bounties and we look at the Steel Path one, it only gives 5,000 per run. And the higher master you are, the more and more of these you have to do. They are quite long, they are quite boring, they are quite tedious. So a faster way of actually farming the standing here in Fortuna is just go into non-Steel Path mode. So I've changed to non-Steel Path mode. Come into the Orbalis via the elevator. Go ahead, jump into your Archwing and bring out the Trank Rifle. Now you just want to go ahead and move forward and keep on just aiming down sights with the Trank Rifle until you see or hear one of the animals spawn in. And then simply all we want to do is just go ahead and try to catch the animals. Now these are the pobbers. They're not going to give a lot of standing. So if I just go ahead and catch one of these guys here. I actually got killed while I was trying to capture the pobber, so I couldn't show you guys the amount of standing, but it's not much. If you want to check the amount of standing, actually, you can go ahead and you can fast travel back to Fortuna. And then you can go ahead and you can talk to this guy here, so you can see, like, that basically give me no standing. Back into Archwing, bring out the Trank Rifle, aim down sights, and look around for an animal, and you want to try to catch the animal stealthily. So, if you're far enough away and you can get a clean shot, go ahead and take the shot on the animal, go up to it, and here you can see we got 600 standing for that. So just by aiming down sights and floating around a little bit, listening for the animal to spawn in, it's going to be the quickest way of actually getting your standing. So I like to come over to this little rock here and then just go ahead and look for the animal. Now this guy's he's a roly-poly guy, so you actually have to shoot his like squishy bit, not the hardened bit, before you can catch him. I just keep on shooting at him, then he's going to stagger, and then eventually he's going to fall asleep, and you can go ahead and pick him up. This guy spawns in quite often, actually, at least for me. 750 standing. On top of that, you're getting a lot of the tags, so you can use the tags to buy stuff from the business as well. Go ahead and kill any of the enemies that are annoying, like you might as well, because if you don't, they're just going to snipe you out of your Archwing and, yeah, just annoy you even more. And here we can see a birdie. Just go ahead and chase the bird in your Archwing if you don't manage to get it whenever it's laying down. Maybe lead your shots a little bit, and then they're eventually going to fall out of the air. And there you can see 1,200 just for shooting a bird. So if no animals are spawning in, just go ahead and move around a little bit, maybe TP around in your Archwing. Just keep on aiming down sights with the hunting rifle, and eventually you'll hear one of them make a noise, or your hunting rifle is going to start beeping. And then if you're like me, you'll get unlucky and the game will spawn in some pobbers, which are hard to hit and give literally no standing. 300 for this little thing. Oh, hi birdies, how you doing? So as you can see, we've took pretty much a significant chunk out of my daily standing cap just from hunting animals. So instead of running the bounties alone, you can maybe do a mix of some of the bounties and also hunt the animals, just depending on the day, like what type of mood you're in. It's entirely down to you. Now what I want you guys to do before you go ahead and hunt Eidolons is come into your clan's dojo, go to the energy lab, and you want to go ahead and pick up the squad energy restore large, so that's 100. Go ahead, replicate the blueprint whenever you have enough credits, unlike me. Okay, so I got enough credits. I got the blueprint, squad, energy restores. Go ahead and craft them. They take a minute to craft, 90,000 credits. Then once you have those crafted, go ahead to your gear wheel and just go ahead and equip them. Now we're going to go ahead and do eidolons. So the build that I'm going to be using on my vault looks like this. You don't have to max rank all of the mods. As you can see, I haven't max rank all of the mods, and that's simply because like I literally don't have the space, and I don't want to put an Umbra Forma on these slots here because that is basically just a waste. If anything, I could go ahead and put a D polarity on if I've got the Forma for it, but for the rank that my mods are right now, it's straight up just not necessary. I'm running a Natteric build that looks like this. Now, this is not the most optimized or best Natteric build in the world. It's actually pretty bad for what we're going to do. And that's why we went ahead and we picked up the Ladim using this build with these evolutions that we've got equipped on it right here. The Zorus, your melee weapon, literally does not matter. And of course, like I mentioned before, we're using Madurai with Phoenix Talons and Void Strike. So Winter and I are going to head into the Plains of Eidolon, and we're going to go ahead and capture some Eidolons. Alright, so whenever you get into the Plains of Eidolon, jump into your Arcwing and look for the little glow. Now, we're of course using Volt. We're mainly going to be dealing damage to the Eidolon, and I'm going to be demonstrating like how much damage I can deal with this loadout that I showed you guys. Winter is playing Wisp, and that's good because they have like a little healing plant that they're going to be able to put down, and that is just going to increase the amount of health that we have, and it's also going to do a good job of keeping the lures alive. So the lures are things that we use to capture the Eidolon instead of kill. So if I come over to the left here, I go ahead, shoot this thing, I fly up to it, and then I hack it. Then this lure is basically going to follow me, and if I kill a Vomvalist, or whatever they're called, they're like little blue fluty things, it's going to drop a ball. I can pick that ball up, put it into the lure, and then that is going to charge it up for me. Now, Eidolons are time gated, so you only basically have an hour to kill them. And what that means is we need to kill as much as possible, as fast as possible. So we have a lot of cores and shards to go ahead and rank all of our stuff up, which is why there's a lot of guides out there that are like, this is how you can do Eidolons as fast as possible, that their type of thing. But they sort of neglect like newer players and what newer players have and don't have and stuff like that. So this is the little plants. So this is the bonus health and health regen. You can see that my health is 1,754 right now, and that's not because of my mods, that's because of the plants. And what we're going to do first is we're going to place down a Volt Shield. We're going to use our Void Strike, and we're just going to go ahead and shoot at the Eidolon here. And now you can see that I deal pretty alright damage. It's not as quick as Winter could maybe take it down, but then we whip out our Ladim and we just go ahead and shoot at the limb, and you can see that charges the alt fire of the Ladim up. You turn the alt fire on, then you can go ahead, cast your buffs, your roar if you want. I just got knocked away. Cast your roar, and then go ahead and pick up your Volt Shield if you want, and then shoot through that at one of the limbs, and you're going to take it down. And as you can see, compared to the Natteric, that's a lot quicker. Now this Eidolon is going to TP because we didn't actually charge any of the lures because we just haven't found any bombs. That's okay. Just go into the sky, and then you're looking for that blue light again, and that's where the Eidolon is going to spawn in. As long as you charge all of the lures before you actually, you know, destroy the Eidolon, you kill him after all of the limbs are gone, it'll attach and catch him. So also, if it's nighttime, look around for these. These are just Cetus Wisps. They are used to craft some of the amp parts as well. So, yeah, what I'm going to let Winter do after the Eidolon shield comes up. Winter, go ahead and, yeah, there's the shield gone. You know, he just was left click and the shield goes right like that. So that's what we're looking to get, because that's going to make it really easy to kill Void Angels and, of course, do Eidolons and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to run around and we're going to look for some bombs to charge up 2 of our lures, so we don't end up killing this Terrorless and instead we capture him. So you actually only need to have 1 lure charged, so you can go ahead and destroy the limbs and make it so that Eidolon doesn't TP. For this first one, you need to have 2 of the lures charged, so you capture him. The reason we've got multiple is because we're going to spawn in a different type of Eidolon, which just requires more of the lures. Now, because we only have one of the... Actually, we've got 2 charged now, but whenever he goes into this stage where he's sort of like, you know, crying out in pain after you've destroyed all 4 limbs, a lot of bombs are going to spawn in. So you sort of take this opportunity to charge up more of your lures. So this one requires 2 lures. The next one requires 3 lures. And then the final one requires an additional 3 lures. So yeah, you need to have a lot of lures. That's why Winter's got like a ton with him, you know. So just go ahead and make sure that your lures are basically right beside the Eidolon before you, you know, go ahead and finish him off. And then just use all your buffs and stuff like that. Shoot for your shield, use your Laden, and that'll eventually take him down. And there you go, you've captured a Terrorist. Now you want to hang around him until he fully despawns. And then of course make sure to run around and pick up all of the cores and stuff that spawn on the ground. Now if you go ahead and you check your inventory, you're going to see that you've got a brilliant Eidolon shard, a regular Eidolon shard, a lot of different cores, so exceptional, flawless, and intact. But the most important thing is that brilliant Eidolon shard. You don't want to leave where the Eidolon got captured at until you see that pop up on your screen or in your inventory. And then what you want to do is you want to head over to this little shrine over here. And then all players in the lobby have to put in their brilliant Eidolon shard. And that's going to spawn in the Gunchulus. So it's just a bigger version of the Terrorist. They've got different abilities. And they're more sort of widespread. But this is where we really want to make sure that we're using our buffs. So if you've got your energy for a shield, go ahead, pop down an electric shield, cast your roar, your shock trooper, go into your operator, shoot through the shield. Of course, Winter just murders it, which is good. And then go ahead and break the limbs with your Laden or whatever. And because we have these lures charged, this Eidolon isn't going to TP away, so we can just hang around, you know, the electric shield that we put down or whatever, and just go ahead and take him down. So you just got to be careful of this guy, because as you can see, there's these big laser beams coming from the sky. This is why we've got those Umbro mods equipped, so, you know, we've got a lot of armor, we've got a lot of health. Those Umbro mods, they increase the effectiveness of one another, so if you've got Vitality on, Umbro Vitality, it makes Umbro Fiber and Umbro Intensify better. So whenever he does this like crying out in pain thing, go into your operator and just do the crouch so you don't take a lot of damage from that. Go ahead, break the shield, Winter. And what you're going to notice as well is this guy actually has 6 limbs. So he's got like 2 on his back that you got to go ahead and take down. So come behind him and just shoot him in the back. So you can see that I'm pretty low energy right now. So that's where these energy pads come into play. Just go ahead and place one down and you're going to get, you know, 100 energy. Now this guy just keeps on knocking me away. But the reason that's important is because having the electric shield down is actually increasing the amount of damage that I do with my amp by quite a bit. So I'm using that Void Strike ability and also the crit bonus from the shield. And that's what's making us deal like a lot more damage with our amp. Of course, the amount of damage that you deal with your amp isn't going to matter if you've got a friend that can just melt the Eidolon shield. But if you're playing on your own, like, you know, using every single buff that we possibly can to make the Sirocco deal as much damage as we possibly can, like that's kind of in our best interest. We just destroyed the last limb, and he's doing his down but not out thing. Just go ahead and kill all of the bombs that spawn in during this phase. If you let bombs live, what the bombs are going to do is they are going to attach to him and basically just regen his shield, and you won't be able to touch his shield until you kill the bombs that are connected to him, right? But he's about to get up, so we just go ahead, place down our shields, we can pick it up, we can go ahead, use our shock trooper, all that jazz, and then we just go ahead and we hold left click after we stop staggering, and we're not dealing the most insane amount of damage to him, but we're dealing enough that, you know, we're able to take him down on our own, basically. And it's the same thing, just go ahead, pick up all of the rewards, and make sure to pick up that brilliant Eidolon shard that he dropped. And you can see that we got more of the regular Eidolon shards from that as well, and we also got a radiant Eidolon shard too. So Winter's going to all of the Grenier camps now to get more lures, which means we're going to have to charge another 2 lures up. So a tip with the bombs is go ahead and kill them, and whenever you kill them, they drop this little blue ball. You can go ahead and walk into it, and you can see that my character's glowing blue right now. If I go ahead and I go to one of the lures here that isn't charged up, my buff actually ran out because I ran too far or I took too long. But yeah, if you have that little blue buffer on your character and you're close to a lure that isn't charged, you can just go ahead, walk up to the lure, and that is going to charge the lure up a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to spawn in the third Eidolon. And this guy is a green boy. This is the Hydralist. The Eidolon's names are Terry for Terralist, Gari for Gunchalist, and Hari for Hydralist. And it's pretty much just the exact same thing. Just go ahead, shield, cast your, what's it called? Your Void Strike, and just shoot at Bossman until his shield is down. Of course, you're going to have to do some movement versus this guy because, you know, he strikes lightning down in the ground and it kind of sucks. And just like with the other Eidolons, we're able to take down the limbs of this guy pretty easily, implying we're using our Latum in its incarnon form. Winter's got 2 of the lures charged up, actually 3 of them now, so that's enough to go ahead and capture this guy. So we're just going to go ahead and blitz through, take down his shield as fast as we can, and then destroy all 6 of the limbs. It's basically just the exact same as the Gunchalist, it's just he's a little bit more annoying because he does this lightning that strikes, and he also does this like purple thing, so this Vomvelous Bloom that you can see. I have to go ahead and destroy that because that's protecting the Vom, so we gotta destroy it with our amp here, and then we can go ahead and kill the Voms. Ready?
Yeah, I'm just melting as fast as I can. Although, I don't know if I have the right build on. Alright, Mike.
We did it. We did it.
Where's the vibe meet?
Oh yeah. Sorry. My bad. Bye-bye, Hari. See you later, bro. Many loot. Very good. 5 Eidolon shards. And 3 brilliant Eidolon shards. That's brilliant. Now we go exit. And we do it again. So after you've done a run of the Eidolons, just come over to Mr. Uncle. Go to trade sentient cores for Quill standing. And just go ahead and trade in whatever. So I actually have to go ahead and rank up here with the Eidolon shards that I've got. Very good. So I can go ahead and pick up this brace and I'll be able to make an amp out of that. But I'm going to go and trade in some of the cores now. And what Winter and I are going to do is we're just going to go ahead and try to kill as many of the Eidolons in this night as we possibly can. And yeah. The last thing that we're going to do in today's episode is the MR17 test. Now this is an advanced exterminate test, I believe. So we're on a timer and we have to destroy balls to extend the timer. So it says kill 3 enemies, melee orbs to extend time. So here's an orb, we'll go ahead, melee it, we kill some of the bad guys, and is that really it? Wow, okay. That was the test, guys. Holy, okay, that was quick. And that's everything that we're going to cover in today's episode. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Subscribe for more Warframe content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.